Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'll be telling you about Chandler Halderson. So let's go back to the year 2021 if you dare. A hard year for many people, but for 23-year-old Chandler Halderson of Windsor, Wisconsin, life was great. He still lived rent-free with his loving parents Bart, an accountant, and Krista, a stay-at-home mom, who recently went back to work as customer service rep for a local car dealership, as they paid for Chandler's education at Madison College. Chandler had worked as a rescue diver, but in 2021 he was doing a paid internship with American Family Insurance. Since this was during the pandemic, he worked from home. Chandler also had a girlfriend of 2 years named Catherine, who went by Kat. Perhaps most exciting, Chandler had a job lined up at Elon Musk's company, SpaceX, in Florida, and his girlfriend was ready to pack up and move down there with him. There was just one problem. Chandler's entire life was a lie, and when it was exposed, it would end in murder. The truth is, Chandler did attend some college classes at Madison Technical College in 2019 through 2020. He shared an apartment with childhood friend Alex during this time. According to Alex, Chandler, or Chaz, as he sometimes went by, bragged about hooking up with other women behind his girlfriend Kat's back. When Kat found out, Chandler denied it, but Kat never fully trusted him after this. She made him share his phone location, and if he was somewhere she didn't recognize, she would say, "Show face," and he'd have to FaceTime her. Back to the college thing, Chandler failed or dropped out of all his classes, so by 2020 it was time to move back in with parents Bart and Krista. Kat is important in this story. She was the closest person to Chandler. She was also close to his parents.
I knew Mr. Halderson through Chandler. I would be at their home quite often, and he would show me fishing tips, or if I was cooking, him and Mrs. Halderson would be in the kitchen, and we would have game nights quite often. And we would also play Mario Kart. Mrs. Halderson and I, we would text often about what we're doing in our lives and talk about the dogs and Chandler, and we would talk about recipes and food we want to try, and if I was cooking them something from my culture, she would always be excited and we'd talk about it and always talk about game nights and wanting to do a girls' trip to Disneyland together.
And likewise, Chandler was close to Kat's mom, Dulcie, and her partner, Cress. He was able to go to them for advice and share things he wouldn't share with his own parents. But Chandler wasn't ready to tell his parents college didn't work out. In fact, he wasn't ready to tell anyone. So he pretended he still was taking classes online, and since this was during the pandemic, this seemed believable. Chandler would tell all his family and friends about how excited he was about the classes he was taking, especially his classes in engineering and solar paneling. Meanwhile, while he was supposed to be in class, he was just playing video games. He played online with his brother Mitchell, who had by this point moved out of the house and had a successful career. And Chandler also made a lot of new friends playing online games. He became especially close to this guy named Andrew.
Andrew Smith.
How do you spell it?
Alpha, November, Delta, Romeo, Echo, Whiskey.
And Chandler lied to all his little friends about his life too. So his parents were curious about his schooling, so Chandler put them in touch with Alyssa Brandt, Daniel Spite, and a few other college advisors who all had Gmail accounts. Still, Chandler was taking a while to finish college, and it was really important to his girlfriend, Kat.
Important to you that whoever you were dating have a job or be going to school or something?
Yes.
Can you tell me why that would be important?
Just think being self-sufficient.
Okay.
It's either in school or working.
So he got a job, well, a paid internship, at least at American Family Insurance, working with solar panels and laying out plans for companies. This was in addition to his summer job as a diver with the police. He would show Kat.
He showed me a plan on a whiteboard that he was drawing up.
When you say a whiteboard, what do you mean by that?
Like a whiteboard that you hang up in your home or see in school.
Okay. And what was on that whiteboard that he was showing you, if you remember?
A building and where they wanted to place the solar panels and how it was by a highway, so it would be a safety hazard for the direction they want to point it in because of the angle the sun could be blinding the drivers.
After a few weeks of his new job, though, Chandler still seemed to be broke all the time. When he and Kat went out on dates, she usually picked up the bill. Kat wasn't the only one who noticed Chandler was always broke despite having a job. His parents Bart and Krista were curious too. Chandler said there was problems with the payroll system at work. He showed his parents emails with his managers about the issue. His work managers all had Proton Mail accounts. This went on for a while until May. Chandler had gotten another job, this time at Elon Musk's SpaceX in Florida, making $80K a year working as an engineer with solar panels. He was supposed to start on June 10th. Everyone was excited and proud of Chandler. Kat even agreed to move.
Screenshot from Zillow of homes in Titusville, Florida.
Okay. And it's a screenshot, but there's something else in that screenshot in the top right corner. What is that?
Chandler?
How does this happen? This is on your phone, you're taking a screenshot?
Yes.
Are you FaceTiming at this time?
Yes.
And are you looking up, what are you looking up there?
Homes for sale.
In Titusville, Florida?
Yes.
But then, in May, a couple medical issues happened within the Halderson family. The mom, Krista, was diagnosed with skin cancer. Luckily, she caught it early, but she had a long road to recovery ahead of her. Then, about a week later, Chandler's brother Mitchell was hospitalized because of diabetes complications. Bart and Krista were super worried about Mitchell and barely left his bedside.
And in fact, during your illness, your brother gave you a gift. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
What did he give you?
A unknown type of bullet with the words "get well soon" on it.
Apparently, Chandler wanted in on the action because right after Mitchell was released from the hospital, Dad Bart heard a loud noise and went to find Chandler at the bottom of the staircase, unable to move. We don't know what Chandler told his doctor, but he was diagnosed with a mild concussion. He came home in a neck brace, having trouble walking. He'd have to have more tests to see if he had any brain injury. He started getting sensitivity to light and would get lightheaded and have to lay down. He was having trouble doing everyday tasks. Chandler was not allowed to fly or drive, so he had to tell SpaceX about what was happening. They said they didn't know how long they could hold the job for. They had projects they needed to get started on. On Father's Day, both Chandler and brother Mitchell hung out with Dad Bart and took this picture. Also that month, Chandler's video game friend Andrew came to visit him.
When you visited Wisconsin to see Chandler, you brought him a gift.
Yes, sir.
What did you bring him?
I brought him a 20-inch barrel SKS.
Chandler was really depressed and confided in Kat about his feelings. Kat looked up Greyhound bus tickets to get him to Florida, but Chandler thought the tickets were too expensive. Besides, his condition was only getting worse, and he was dreading an upcoming doctor's appointment. So Chandler's parents don't really pressure him about jobs because of his injury, but they're starting to get impatient with his college. They had been trying to get Chandler's transcripts for over a year, but his guidance counselors with their little Gmail accounts kept giving them the runaround. On June 30th, Bart got fed up and called the school pretending to be Chandler and reached an Omar Jobs.
Hi. I'm trying to get an appointment scheduled to meet with somebody to mainly just get a copy of the transcript and also a printed copy of a certificate that was earned and other degree verification.
Okay.
How do I get that done?
Okay, for the degree, you have to download the duplicate diploma form and send it in with a check or a money order of $4 for the diploma to be mailed back to you. For the transcript, you have to go online and request it.
Yeah, I tried requesting them online and we never got them. And I've spent I don't know how many times doing that at $8 a piece, so I'm not willing to do that again.
Why is not letting you request your transcript? What is it?
It's not my system, it's your system, so don't ask me questions like that. I've gone through the process before. I've worked with, I tried to work with Daniel Spike to see if he can get through the information. I don't know if he's with you guys anymore, but it just seems like the ball keeps getting dropped.
First name?
Chandler, Chandler. Last name is Haldy as in David, Erson. If we've earned a certificate, say in that solar program,
You said
where does that get requested to?
if you earned a certificate?
Yeah.
I don't see that you earned a certificate. There were no like. You were taking,
oh, okay.
you were taking IT classes, right? I don't see that you were in a program.
Well, prior to the IT, there was a solar program too.
Yeah, but I don't see that you were Chandler Halderson. Yep, you took 4 classes, but you were not in a program.
Okay. Does the internship from the spring show up in there?
Entrance from the spring of what year? I can go back.
Oh, this year, 2021. Or winter. Yeah, you do spring. Yeah.
No.
Do you have an Alyssa Brandt that works in that area or anywhere in the campus?
What is the last name?
BRAN. I think it's T or DT.
You said the first name is Alyssa?
Alyssa? Yeah, ALYSSA.
No. All the branch. There's no Alyssa.
Does Daniel Spice still work there? His last name is Spice. Yeah, it's SPEITH.
You said SPEITH. No, it's not showing up.
Okay, that should do it then. Okay, thank you for your help.
Right, welcome.
According to Chandler, the next day, Thursday, July 1st, Bart and Krista decided to take a surprise trip to their family cabin up in White Lake, about 2 hours away. He said he helped them pack and they left early with their friends, a couple Chandler had never met before. He thought his parents must have gotten a ride with the couple because their cars were still there. A neighbor would later say he smelt a strange burning odor coming from the Halderson home that night. On the night of July 1st, Chandler was spotted at a local gas station carrying huge bags of ice, without his neck brace. In fact, Chandler never wore his neck brace again. The next day, Chandler went to a store and bought a tarp and texts Kat.
And now hydrogen peroxide because I stepped on glass. For real, if your mom has an extra bottle, that would be great. And a Swiffer wet jet.
Kat spends the night, and instead of sleeping in Chandler's room, they sleep on a fort Chandler had set up by the fireplace. So it would be closer to the bathroom, it would be easier with his injury. Little did Kat know what was burning in the fireplace she was sleeping next to. The next day, Chandler drove around to different areas of Wisconsin. He even took this photo holding a machete and sent it to a friend. Kat also tracks his phone to the Wisconsin River on that day. Chandler stopped by Kat's that night and she remembers how exhausted he was. For the 4th of July weekend, Chandler goes with Kat to her mom's partner's farm, this woman named Cress. Kat's mom, Dulcie, and her partner, Cress, both noticed how strange Chandler was acting. When he was in the swimming pool, he would just stare blankly in the distance, but they knew about his injury, so they just thought that was why he was a bit off. That evening, Chandler said he got a text from his mom saying they got to the cabin safe. The signal was just bad because so many people were out there for the 4th of July. So, the next day, Chandler says he has a doctor's appointment and he got some bad news. He may have numbness in his legs the rest of his life and might not be able to walk, plus he might have to use a colonoscopy bag, and he lost his job at SpaceX. He tells Kat and her mom, Dulcie, and Dulcie,
very upset with Krista because why she wasn't to taking him that day. He has a doctor's appointment.
He thought his mom should have been there.
Yeah, so we were talking about as a mom, I was very upset with his mom.
Chandler calls Cress.
4:25 p.m. Hi, Chris. This is Chandler. I just got back with some pretty terrible news from my doctor. So I was wondering if I could come by. Take a couple laps to the pool or hang out. Something. I'm not having the most ideal day, I suppose. So call me back, 920-838-4549. Thank you. Bye.
So at about 4:30 on July 5th, Chandler shows up to the farm. It's his first time being there without Kat, so he goes out to use the pool. But Dulcie and Cress say when they go look out at the pool, Chandler isn't there, so they get on this driving lawnmower. And all the way at the end of the property near the woods, they see Chandler's car with the trunk open, but no Chandler. Dulcie starts thinking Chandler is doing substances, so they get irritated and decide to go swimming. And Cress likes to swim topless, so she does. A few minutes later, Chandler comes wandering towards the pool. Cress says, "I don't have my top on." "Not now, Chandler," but he ignores her and jumps in the pool. Chandler doesn't swim, he just rinses himself off and stares through Dulcie. So obviously this is super awkward, and Dulcie and Cress will remember this. It will be important shortly. The next day, so Tuesday, Bart and Krista still aren't home. They have jobs and their co-workers are worried, and Kat is worried, so she tells Chandler to text his brother Mitchell. The next day, Krista is supposed to have a doctor's appointment for her cancer, and her co-workers know about this, so they tell Chandler, who says if she doesn't show up for the appointment, he will report her as missing. So July 7th rolls around and the Haldersons are still missing. Their co-workers and friends are super worried and keep texting them. Chandler tells one of Krista's friends that maybe they were on a bender drinking and gambling, which is totally out of character for them. So Chandler reports his parents missing. Cops go to the Haldersons' cabin and find no one there, and it looks like no one had been there in some time. So the search for Bart and Krista began. Chandler gave an interview to the news off camera.
Bart and Krista Halderson of Windsor had plans for the 4th.
Their plans were going up with their friends and do some minor repairs on our cabin.
That cabin is some 3 hours away from Windsor on a lake in a small community in Langlade County.
Did you literally see them pulling out of the driveway heading out?
No.
Their son, Chandler Halderson, who asked to be off camera, says whoever his parents were traveling with from this neighborhood were to do the driving. He says he received a text from his mother.
She got back to me on Sunday, said they made it safely.
That's the last he's heard from his parents.
The sheriff said it looked like there wasn't anyone home.
Family and friends hope the Haldersons' unexpected extended time away is just that, and not a sign they're in trouble.
All I would really want to ask you is just if there's any information that you feel like, would be worthwhile for us to share, anything that you feel like is important for us to share, just anything like that, of that nature.
So my last message I got from them, they were going to White Lake for the 4th of July. There's some festivities that go around there, better drink prices at the bars, stuff like that for, White Lake, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, their plan, or to my knowledge, they were going to Langlade County to a cabin, their cabin. Along the way, they could have stopped many places. I wouldn't know all of them. But it's about 3 hours north of Madison, or Dane County.
And they left then a week ago today, on the 1st? Friday
morning.
So that would have been the 2nd, right, of July when they left. And that's the last you'd heard of them?
Yes, it is.
And then was it yesterday that you called the sheriff's office, or someone with your family called the sheriff's office just to...
I go back on that. I actually got a text from them on Sunday telling me they were going to White Lake.
Okay.
I don't know when the text was sent because of reception issues that they would have, and they usually turn their phone off because of pay for roaming.
Yeah.
It could have been whenever they sent that message that they made it safely, and they're going to White Lake for the 4th.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So it was probably the last couple days that you started to get nervous then. Is there people, we see comments, people say, are they up north? Is the cell service bad? Could they, just not be able to get a hold of? Is there anything that you feel like is kind of going on here that leads you to be a little bit more nervous that that's not the case?
My aunt went up there and was able to call me while she was at the cabin.
Okay.
So she was able to call me. I don't know what provider she's using, but U.S. Cellular would take up most of Wisconsin, so they'd be able to call today because this weekend it was packed. I get that, packed. Maybe the weather wasn't great for messaging. Yeah, so who knows?
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was a lot of the comments, people were concerned or kind of wanted some clarification about the vehicle, right? Because the reports from the sheriff's office say they didn't have a car or there wasn't a car with them.
They were picked up by their friends, who I never got the name of, and I assumed it was someone I was aware of, like the close neighbors of theirs up the street, or their best friends down on the east side. So that's what I assumed. I never really asked any further into it, and so they got picked up and they all went up there by another couple.
Picked up here?
Yeah, here at my house.
Okay.
Before I woke up, they had everything packed up and already gone.
And you don't know who they're who?
No.
Jeez.
That's I mean that has happened before, where they just kind of head out before I leave, or I wake up. I'm a heavy sleeper. I'm on a schedule. I wake up at 6 to feed the dogs, and they were out before 6. Beat the rush to get to the north. So.
Chandler went door to door asking neighbors if they have any Ring camera footage.
Hi, my name is Chandler Halderson. I live just down the road.
Oh, yeah.
You're the one who called the police.
Yeah.
I was told you had the fancy security system. I was wondering if you were able to capture the road or my house.
The police actually came and downloaded everything they have. But it's actually my sister's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they were here, I think till 9 o'clock last night and downloaded all the video she's got. So we're hoping that...
Yeah, did it capture anything on...
We don't know. They just took a copy of everything, and so we're hoping...
Winding the lens?
Yeah, and it's all and it's all HD. And then I think there's one,
especially in the dark. It looks like it has a little bit of night vision.
Yeah, and there's one on the corner of the garage too. I don't know if that one quite goes that direction, but
maybe see. Hoping anyone would have security cameras and stuff like that.
We do. For you guys, okay?
Thank you.
Take care of things.
Take care.
Bye.
Meanwhile, Dulcie and Cress tell police about the incident when Chandler came to the farm alone and went off near the field. Police go to that location and find the dismembered torso of Bart Halderson. He had been shot. Nearby was a tarp with both Bart and Krista's blood on it. Also nearby was an oil drill with broken saws and scissors with blood all over it. Chandler calls the police, wondering why there's so many police in his neighborhood.
I'm a little confused. I got 2 squads parked right outside my house, and they're not really canvassing. They're just kind of sitting there. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the area doing canvassing, and they're also probably doing a shift change right now, getting our second shift crew on around 3:30.
Oh, there's 4 now. Something going on that we need to know?
Well, they're probably doing reports. They're probably doing shift change. They've been going around trying to get a hold of neighbors, so I'm wondering if they're in the area trying to catch people now that they're coming home from work. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to any of them in just a little while.
So cops bring in Chandler for questioning.
How are you doing?
Not good.
Good. But you guys switch spots. Yeah. Gonna sit in that red chair. Yeah. What's going on? All right. So we're just gonna talk to you a little bit more, okay? Let's write some signage here. Try the one. All right. Just so you know, I'm gonna record stuff, okay? It just helps me remember everything and picks up everything that we talk about. So today is July 8th. It's about 5:11 now. We started talking at 5:08. So yesterday, July 7th, I came to your house where you live with your parents, Bart and Krista Halderson. And the reason I was there is you had gone to the Windsor Police Department and reported them missing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't go to the department. I went to their office break room area. Friday morning, I woke up. They had left with the stuff was all set out, and we get to Sunday. It's the 4th. In the morning, I'm a little worried about my family. I think I called my mom. Oh, throughout I've called. I don't know the times though.
Good morning. Jane sends you a picture of the cabin. You see the birch tree and look right to you.
Then I go to the police station because I ask her, when should I make a thing? I'm sorry.
No worries, man.
What?
Wednesday morning, you said you went to the police department.
Yeah, to make a... talk to them about my parents. The sheriffs kind of gave what they need to make reports, and you just asked about, home life.
Everything, right? Okay.
So you got more in depth.
Yeah.
I think. Wednesday, here we are, and throughout the weekend I've been calling.
Okay.
Chandler starts to get paranoid.
By the way, a detective at my house said something's happened, and while we were leaving, people were going inside. Is there a warrant for my house?
Should there be?
No, I'm just wondering if...
Okay.
Can they go in?
As far as I know, they were at your house, and they were going to be there talking to you to ask if you would come up here and talk to us.
But Officer Haley just walked pretty much in to the gate, the gate on the outside. Just kind of walked in. I was wondering.
Was that when you were getting your wallet?
No, we were. I was in the car waiting to leave. I was just wondering if everything's okay because she said something's happened.
Okay.
And we need to go down.
All right. I'll find out what that's about.
Well, has anything bad happened? Oh,
not sure. All right. So Wednesday night, Mom comes home.
Meanwhile, police were inspecting Chandler's cell phone, and the results were shocking. Chandler was researching the case of Peter Capaza, who was convicted of killing his cousin, dismembering her body, and dumping the remains in the Wisconsin River. Chandler's Snapchat locations he sent to Kat were checked, and on July 3rd, it showed him 40 minutes from home in a forest near the Wisconsin River. When cops went there, they found Mom Krista's legs. Krista's cell phone that she was using to text Chandler from the cabin, that phone was found inside a shoe, wrapped in aluminum foil inside the Halderson home. The murder weapon was found on Cress's farm, behind some boards. It was the gun Chandler's friend Andrew gave him. Found in the Haldersons' fireplace were the skulls of Bart and Krista. Chandler was arrested.
You want to stand up and just come over here for me? Do you have anything in your pockets at all?
Wallet.
Just a wallet that just put in there. Oh, okay. What's this right here? Vape in the corner, please. Okay. So they won't take the vape down in the jail. Okay.
Chandler Halderson was put on trial for his parents' murder in January 2022. The evidence against him was overwhelming.
While he's doing this that morning, what's he Googling? This is what he's Googling. Body found, Wisconsin. Woman's body found, Wisconsin. Wisconsin dismembered body found. We'll come back to the next two. Dead body found in Wisconsin. Body found in Milwaukee River. He's searching for whether they found his parents. Didn't have a lot of significance at the time when the police saw it, but eventually someone realized the tree looks unique. Interesting V pattern right there. The hollowness of the tree as it goes down. The way in which 5 of those branches branch off. And eventually one of the detectives realizes why. Something clicked. It was the exact location he ditched his mother's remains. At sometime after the "I'm ready whenever you are" message, and probably just around 3 o'clock when he was supposed to go to this meeting with MATC, Bart Halderson was shot in the back multiple times with a high-powered rifle. And after shooting his dad, Chandler texts his mom. Dad's phone died. Text her, call me. And get sewed on your way home. I have an extra hour of work. You know he didn't have an extra hour of work, but he was delaying her getting there because the evidence will show he needed to move things around, prepare for what he was about to do when she showed up. She responds, "Kay, I can," smiley face. Those are the last words of Krista Halderson alive.
Chandler's defense team, well, they tried their best. They basically said, the murder wasn't on video, so you don't know what happened.
That at any minute, someone's gonna walk into that door, someone from the Dane County Deputy's Department is gonna walk in and say, I found it, I found the video we were looking for. I know exactly what happened in that house on the 1st. It doesn't exist.
Chandler Halderson was found guilty of 2 counts each of first-degree intentional homicide, lying to investigators, mutilating a corpse, and hiding a corpse. He was sentenced in March 2022 to life in prison without the possibility of release.
I want to take this opportunity to state my intent to appeal my convictions. If there are any lawyers listening and willing to take on my appeal, take a moment to please reach out to me. It's not that I do not have feelings. It's that I was warned to not show them due to the scrutiny of this case. Thank you.
In May of 2023, the charges of dismembering and hiding a corpse were overturned.
Obviously, the main counts are still in place, and Chandler wants to appeal that, and we'll be working on that appeal in the future. But we're very happy today that counts 4 and counts 8 were dismissed.
Chandler Halderson remains at the Dodge Correctional Institution in Waupun, Wisconsin, where he will likely spend the rest of his life. Considering how lazy Chandler is, prison might be okay for him. He can do nothing and not have to make up lies to cover it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you can be notified of future videos. See you soon.